Alright, welcome back. It's now time to keep working on the turtles. So let's grab our paints and sling it. Hi, and welcome to the final installment, or hopefully the final installment, of painting Raph from IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shadows of the Past board game. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go on to the wrappings and the front shell. Here, well, let me show you on here. The front shell of Raph. Okay, we're going to start with the front shell. We're going to use a color called Balor Brown. Again, we'll just give it a second for the camera to kick in and decide to focus on it, like it has with so many other paints in the past. Okay, well, kind of get the idea, I guess. The camera's not awake yet. It's okay. It's okay, camera. It's okay. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll remember that you have a job to do. There you go. There we go. Balor Brown. There we are. I'm going to use that for the main color of the front shell of Raph. And again, we're going to go to our medium layer paint. I see that the Balor Brown is going to give me a bit of a headache first thing this morning, but that's okay. We can do that all at once. Because we're going to take the paint and put it on our palette. And just a hint of water. Thin it down a little bit. Take old Raffy. Give him the paint, the color that it deserves. Now this one you might want to be a little bit neater, a little bit nicer, see if you can't keep the lines between the different panels on the shell. So here's where neatness starts to count. And if it's a color, you know, it's not quite the solid color. That's okay. There's more panels, and you can come back and fix the other ones. You know, it's kind of, I've actually been a fan of Turtles ever since the very first ones that came out back in the 80s. I know that might be dating me, you might, you know, but it's true. Got my hands on some of the old Mirage, well, when they were new, I guess. And I just love them. Fell in love with the Turtles and Shredder and everybody. Basically right off the hop. Of course, that's probably not that strange of a thing. Those of you that know the Slinger, it's a little bit weird at times, but it's, I mean, you kind of have to be weird to sit here by yourself talking to a camera 4 cameras, because there's the other one right over there. I see you right there, and then there's the one up there. And you know, not actually having anybody talk back to you, and having actual conversation. So it's a one-sided conversation that I know that other people are listening to eventually. Oh man, you know, I put up the second camera right here, so that you can see what I'm painting, and I'm still pulling up out of frame when you're watching on the little one down here. And I'm sorry for that, guys. I really am. I have to be more aware of my camera presence. That is on me. But, you know, luckily, our front shell, or our tummy shell, or however you want to call it, is almost done. And I think that you'll agree with me when I say that this brown, it's actually quite a nice color. For his front. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so that's pretty much all we need the Valor Brown for. It's just to do the front. Take that brush and wash, put it over on the paper, remake the tip, and put it aside for a second. There you go, and you can kind of see the much lighter colored front shell to really, there we go, to the darker backside. Okay. Oh, it runs away. Raph hasn't quite figured out his framing yet, but that's okay. There we go. He's looking good though. Looking pretty darn good, I think. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the Valor Brown. Say bye-bye. And we're going to go back. Now we're going to use another color called Xandri Dust. That's right there. And the Xandri Dust is a great color to use for the wrappings that are on his feet, at least, because I have a different idea for his other wrappings that are on his knees, elbows, and wrists. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell, but in the original Turtles, or the original black and white Turtles, which is what's on my shirt here, they actually have more knee pads and shoulder pads, or elbow pads, I should say, not shoulder pads, but elbow pads, than they do wrappings. And in the comics, when they actually got, or in the comics, when they finally got around, or when they colorized them, and that just made it even that much cooler. One, all the bandanas were red, so it was a little bit, you know, you had to learn your Turtles from the weapons that they carry, but also, you know, from the personalities. You know, you didn't have the go, oh, well, that's Leo because he's blue. You go, oh, that's Leo because he's got the swords, or because he's talking in a very specific way. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird did a fantastic job in fleshing out the turtles' personalities and actually getting you to know who the turtles are by the way they spoke and by the way their actions were, as opposed to just looking at the bandana and thinking, oh, red is Raph, or purple is Donatello. But I'm not saying that the turtles don't have a fleshed out personality nowadays. But you had to pay a little bit more attention. You just couldn't. I mean, you just automatically couldn't look at a picture and just go, oh, hey, that's who this is. Unless, of course, they had their weapons, and then you could pretty much go, oh, hey, that is what this is. Then it was a little easier. Okay, almost. Alright, so that's 1 foot down, just like that. Sure we keep a good decent tip on it. Earn some nice precision work on the wrapping. There we are. Yeah, so I've actually had a chance to play Turtles. And I keep wanting to calling it out of the Shadows, but I know that's wrong. It's Shadows of the Past. Out of the Shadows was the movie, one of the newest movies that was done for the Turtles, and I still get the two mixed up. But I've actually had a chance to sit down and play a couple of turns, one scenario of the Turtles board game, and it's actually quite a lot of fun. I had it was a good time. It took us an hour to do, and we only did 2 turns, but I mean, we were kind of learning the rules as we went, so it took a lot longer, I suppose, than if we had the rules called. Also, we had an older rule book and a newer rule book, and the older rule book was apparently not the current one, and the rules in it were wrong. So, interesting times, but it was a ton of fun, and you can catch it on the watch. Okay, so we're gonna put Alor Brown back there, and the Sandry Dust right there. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the Mornfang Brown. That's what I forgot to do. Remember how I said that hopefully we have enough Mornfang Brown to get through and do Raph? Well, I'm still hoping that I have enough Mornfang Brown to get through and do Raph. Because what we're going to do is now, as you can, he's just all flying around. I don't know, it's kind of weird that way. As you can see, there we go. He's more centered in frame. Still blurry as all heck, but that's okay. There we are. You can see that we've done the wrappings around the feet. Now we have to pay attention to the wrappings around his knees and elbow and wrists. And what we're going to do for that is we're going to actually make it almost the same leather brown as his belt for all of these. What do you say? Sound like fun? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, well, let's see what we can do here. I have very little faith in my Mornfang Brown right now. Let's see what we can get out of it. Okay. So far, it's turning out okay. But I know I'm gonna have a fight with the brown, so let's just do what we can. Hope for the best. Yeah, there's actually one thing else that I've noticed about the sculpts on these guys. Each turtle almost has a different physiology. Like each one is, you know, they're not sculpted as four identical turtles. They're actually, you know, just like actual people and stuff like that. Unless they're identical twins. You're not sculpted all the same. Like Raphael right here, he's a bit of a bruiser actually. He's a little bit thicker in the muscles, and he's a little chunkier, I guess. I mean, obviously he's not fat. He's extremely well muscled, but the way they sculpt him actually is reflected in that. And they made him, you know, a bit thicker in the muscles. They made him a bit brawnier, a little bit. As say compared to Donatello, who's, you know, a taller, still well muscled, but he's taller and a little bit more wispy, billowy, I guess. So good on IDW for, you know, taking that into consideration. You know, and if we get paint on the weapons right now, that's okay, because we have to go back and paint the weapons anyway. So don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. So let's see the padding and everything is beginning to come through. I'll tell you, this is a chance if you got any of the, you know, the skin color or whatever on the turtles, you can go back and fix it up. Nope. Don't worry about it. That was just me. Yeah, actually I kind of like that. I kind of like how the leather wrap on his wrists look instead of almost the banded wrap that he has on his feet. It's kind of more with Raph's style, I think. And since, you know, Raph happens to be my favorite turtle, and I know people out there like Donatello or Michelangelo or even Leo, Raph is and forever will be my favorite turtle. Number one, he still retains the color that the original bands were, which is great, and then of course is red. And there we go. So now all of the wrappings on Raph are finished as well. So his foot wrappings and his knee, elbow, and wrist are all finished. I pretty much have to say goodbye to this Mornfang Brown. I think she's done, which is sad because I actually used Mornfang in quite a few different things, but that's okay. That just means that it's time to go and get more. Okay, so hopefully we can get Raph to show up a little. Oh, there it is. Yay, nice and clear, relatively. And you can see that the foot wrappings are done. The wrappings around the knees, the elbows, and the wrists are done. We still have to do the band, or the bandana around the eyes and the weapons. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a quick base coat on the bands for the eyes. What we're going to do is we're going to make it a nice bright red. We're going to take a color called Mephiston red. Again, there you go. Good camera. Mephiston red. Right there. And give it a go. Now I'm going to switch up a little bit here, and I'm going to use my small layer brush so I don't wreck, or try my best anyway, not to wreck the eyes that I've already done. And this camera needs to snap into focus faster. There you go. He's got the whites in his eyes now. A little bit of water. Then we're going to start off at the back. Work that red up. go. And now, again, I'm sorry for pulling things away up here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to just raise the camera just a little bit. If you can, there we go. Hopefully that can actually, you can actually see what I'm doing. This is where you take care and you take your time to make sure that you get the paint where you want it and not where you want it, you know. So you don't want to cover the eye. And you don't want to get the red on the skin part if you can't. But if you, I mean, if you do, again, it's no big deal. Just go back and repaint that little piece of skin. I mean, it's no big deal if you get it on the eye either. It'll just be a harder fix. That's all. Just take your time. Be slow. Be careful. Put that paint exactly where you want it. The paint's not going anywhere. Your model's not going anywhere. Unless, of course, you get, you know, what a lot of people call modeling hands. And that's just where you can't seem to hold the model in your hands at all, and all you do is just drop it all the time. I get modelers' hands actually quite a bit, and it's frustrating because you're putting together a miniature and the next thing you know, you've dropped a piece and now you're on the floor hunting for said piece. You're like, oh man. If it's carpet, it's even harder sometimes, depending if you've already pre-painted the piece or if the piece is the same color as your carpet, or who knows. It's just not necessarily a fun day. Okay, well, we are almost out of time for today, but that's okay. Because for the most part, that bandana is done. Oh, that was a stressful 8 minutes, wasn't it? 6 minutes, something like that. Anyway, there he is, red bandanaed Raphael. Now what we're going to do is we're going to finish the weapons and and stuff like that. Either next time, or I'll finish it and have it done for you guys on for next time. But we're going to give it a wash and then do the weapons. So stay tuned and come back soon. Thank you much for tuning in, and paint safe, everyone.